Hey everybody. Well, in the first turn, not much happened. The Prussian commander issued orders to his Russian counterpart, but it would seem that something got lost in translation and the orders didn't go through. On the other hand, we did have an opening of artillery fire. Let me zoom out here a bit. Both of the Russian heavy batteries opened fire at long range, inflicting no damage whatsoever. However, the French did decide to form line with a couple of their battalions just in case something might actually hit. I guess we'll see what happens next turn. Hey everybody. Well, turn 3, and the Russians finally got moving. Their artillery's been blasting away at the French, and has managed to inflict one casualty on that battalion right there. But yeah, once these guys get far enough forward, the next brigade will go, then the next, and the next. I guess we'll see what happens. I look forward to it. Hey everybody. Well, as you can see, this Russian unit continues to advance. The Russian artillery continues to pound away. Next turn, this division follow their friends right here. The French sprang to life. They're moving to counter the Russian advance, and casualties are beginning to mount up because of the Russian artillery fire. That's about it so far. The French battery on the hill hasn't opened fire because they're blocked by that small village in the center. I guess we'll see what happens next time. Hey everybody. Well, things have sprung to life. The Russians are moving forward. Over here, that Geiger unit has formed into skirmish and is about to go into the woods. On the French side, things have sprung into life as well. They've moved into a more defensible position, formed into line, and thrown out skirmishers, and this horse battery has quickly run forward and unlimbered, and as you can see, has inflicted a casualty on their opponent right there. On the French side over here, the Russian battery has continued inflicting casualties. It's not going well for the French right here. Anyhow, we'll see what happens in the coming turns. Well, hey everybody. This turn, the Russian division right here held back and deployed its Jaeger battalions into skirmish order. This one, on the other hand, advanced and sent its one Jaeger battalion into the woods. Russians continued to bang away, but didn't inflict anything this turn. On the other hand, the horse battery, thinking the Russians would continue advancing, pulled back, and the 6-pound battery opened fire, inflicting one single casualty on that unit right there. On the other hand, the French have fully formed their line of battle. I guess we'll see what happens. Hey everybody. Well, things are really heating up. The rifle-armed Russian Jaegers have opened fire over here on the French skirmishers, inflicting 1 casualty. Both of the French artillery batteries over there have opened fire. We've got a small Russian battery unlimbering. That division has entirely moved up. The Jaegers are advancing in there. And over here, these other Russians have gotten orders to start advancing. Russian 12-pounders still banging away, but as I said, they're just banging. They might have inflicted 1 casualty in the past turn. Otherwise, things are pretty quiet. I guess we'll see what happens. Hey everybody. Well, things have come to quite a crescendo now. We got huge amounts of skirmishing going on, as well as the French artillery is now firing canister. All these guys are coming up. Over there, the other Russian division is advancing, which has covered their artillery and prevented their firing now. And these Jaegers are advancing as well. I think it's probably about time to bring up some reserves. The French are looking very limited in their numbers now. But I guess we'll see. See you next turn. Well, hey everyone. Quite a interesting turn this time around. 2 battalions of the Maloruski Grenadier Regiment tried to charge that French battery. And one became unformed and the other one was forced to retreat as it shot out 7 casualties. And this one even got hit by canister from that one, so they ended up sustaining 5 casualties just to themselves. And surprisingly, they're the ones that went unformed. Otherwise, the Central Division is advancing and pretty much advancing across the entire line. Skirmishing continues. The French actually scored a double 6 and caused this unit to pull back, of Jaegers to pull back. I guess we'll see what happens next time around. I tried to bring on reserves for the French back here, but the order failed. So, on to the next turn. Hey everybody. Well, things are heating up. Over here we have units engaged in musketry. The French artillery over here continues to plow lanes through the oncoming Russians. And then over here we've had artillery start to open up on the Central Division. Pretty soon the Prussians will start advancing as they get the order to do so. Well, I guess we'll see how it continues to go next turn. Over here, the French reinforcements have come on. We'll see what happens. Hey everybody. Well, things have heated up quite a lot. We had multiple charges in here to try and get rid of the French artillery. The one right here, there's my finger, did succeed, but only in driving the French artillery crews to pull back behind the infantry battalion in their rear. On the other hand, over here, the horse artillery did its job and forced the attack back. Otherwise, we had desultory musketry exchanges along there, and the French lights over here have shaken out into loose formation and are going to advance across the swamp to try and take those Russians in the flank. Further stuff. Artillery is banging away across the field, and the Russians right here, their Jaegers have shaken out into loose formation. Then, as you can see back there, the Prussians have finally swung into action and are advancing over there. I guess we'll see what happens, but so far the French are holding quite steadfastly, and the Russians are not doing so hot. But I guess we'll see how things continue to progress. See you next time. Hey everybody. Well, interesting things happening. The Russian advance has stalled dead in its tracks. That Central Russian division has gotten itself slapped in the nose. And this one over here, both units that are engaging with the French are probably about to break. We got the French Light Regiment advancing through the marsh with two of its battalions, and across the way we got the Russian heavy battery advancing across the field, and then the Prussians are slowly making their way forward in the lines. In the center we got Russian Jaegers engaging with the French skirmishers, which is not going well for the Russians, especially since the French are buoyed up by artillery. Too early to call, but I don't think the Russian Prussians are probably going to end up breaking through. But I guess we'll find out next time. Or the time after that, or the time after that. See you then. Hey everybody. Well, things have really begun happening. French unit right here ended up charging the Russians opposed to it, and well, lo and behold, they ran. Also over here, these skirmishers ended up dispersing that unit that was originally sitting there. And as you can see, Napoleon did it. He brought Murat on. He's going to try and smash straight through the Russian center and then split their army apart. Yep, that's what's going on. Otherwise, the forces down there are still advancing. As you can see here, those two formed into column to move through the village. But otherwise, things are continuing on as before. I think things are coming to a head. I'll probably go ahead and end it here and release the next portion. And the next part will probably be out within the next few days. But hope you all enjoyed it. See you next time.